Come on. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. I tell you all the time, you got to get yourself around coaches, get yourself around people that know what you don't know, all right? And there's something you don't know. I don't care how smart you think you are, what you've done in business, there's something you don't know, and you got to get around the folks that know what you don't know, so in turn you can become to learn what you don't know and consistently evolve day after day, moment after moment. Every single moment of your life, you're constantly evolving. I say that in the middle of me at the moment. Okay, this podcast has been going for over 4 years now, and at the moment, I have about a week in of using a microphone. All right, I literally just got a microphone last week, and I am now using a microphone to record at least all my longer episodes of my podcast. There are folks out there who have podcasts who have paid for the website, they paid for the photo shoot, they paid for the microphone, they paid for the lighting, they paid for the camera, they paid for all that shit, and they barely make it to 5 episodes. I myself, again, am approaching 800 episodes, and I just got a microphone. And why is that? Why is that, you ask? How is it I can evolve and progress so consistently without the quote-unquote tools? Is because I hired someone that was going to I was going to make sure I got the most out of the situation, regardless of how long the program lasts or whatever, but learn from the people who know what you don't know and constantly evolve. I'll give you an example, all right? It was actually because, again, I, like most business owners, get really busy, and I don't have the time like I used to have the time to sit down and read a hard copy book. So because of that, I've leaned a lot into doing Audible and listening to a lot of great books on Audible and things like that. And it was this coach, his name is Dre Baldwin. He's been on the show. Title of his episode is titled Work on Your Fucking Game. And he had recommended a book to the group called Profit First by Michael Michalowicz. And it's interesting because one of the newer guests that I'm getting ready to do an interview with today in about, let's see, what time is it? Like 6 and about 4 hours from now. His name, Brandon Neely is actually a Profit First coach, and one of his mentors was actually Mike Michalowicz, who wrote Profit First. And Dre had recommended the book to the group, and then I listened to it, and then when I saw his profile on Podmatch, I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of reading that myself, and it's going to be a great conversation. Like I said, we're going to be recording that in a couple hours here, but the point of it is this. As I was going through Audible, and I was like, man, again, because I was at that point, I was reading another longer book, which, by the way, a book review's coming on that as well. It's going to probably be on one of the Wintrapreneur thoughts, because the title of the book is Intrapreneuring by 𝐔𝐕𝐈𝐒. So I'll talk more about that a little later. But main thing is, as I was going through Audible, and I was just kind of searching, because I have the deal where every month I get a free book. And, it was that time where it's time for me to get a token and get a book. And, I was looking at some of Dre's books, because I've already read some of them, actually hard copy books. But, I was seeing if his stuff is on Audible. And I just, again, posed the question to the group. I'm like, yo, how big of a deal is it to actually have your books on Audible? Because at the moment, none of my books are on Audible, right? So I didn't really look at it as that big of a deal, because, I saw my podcast is on Audible and all that kind of stuff. And then he says it's a really big deal. It's really important. And so what I did is I tried to do what I normally do with my podcast or these videos or whatever, and I tried to record. I read my entire latest book, Transferring D1. I read the entire book on my phone. And I was wondering, when it's time to put the book on Audible and all that and get the recordings on Audible, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And I'm like, damn, what the hell? So for a little while there, I was just like, I kind of procrastinated a little bit, and I'll just do it whenever. And then I posed the question to Dre when we were on a coaching call at one point, and he goes, all right, so, because I was telling him what I just told you in regards to me recording the book over the phone and trying to get it on Audible. He goes, all right, see, the problem is you actually need a microphone. You actually need to pay for a microphone. And then he recommended where I bought the microphone on Amazon and all that, and I'm currently in the process now. It should be up by the time this recorded. It should be up within the next 2 to 3 weeks on Audible, and I'm making sure I'm breaking all of this down for you, is to kind of validate my point in the beginning in regards to you don't know what you don't know. if you don't get around the coaches, if I was around just trying to sell my books and just push my stuff without getting help from people who have been there and done that, I would have never saw it as important as it is to make sure I go buy the microphone, make sure things are recorded, make sure I'm spending my time and putting the money where it needs to be put so I can create more assets in my business. I cannot stress the importance. And again, I know if this is your first time, this is maybe the first time you may be hearing me, or if it's something that if you're someone that regularly tunes into my work, I sound like a broken record right now, but I cannot say it enough. I will never get tired of saying it, because it's so easy for you to kind of dismiss the expense that a coach is going to cost. Don't dismiss that expense at all. Make sure you put it in the budget to pay somebody to help you out, even if it's a situation where certain things aren't being responded to the way you may prefer and all that kind of stuff. You got to leave your ego aside and just say, look, I'm gonna pay for something, and I gotta put it in the budget to make sure somebody is coaching me up, and I can kind of use them as sort of a pseudo accountability partner to make sure I'm doing what I have to do for my business, so I know what I can create, no opportunities and things of that nature. That is so motherfucking important. I cannot tell you. All right. All that being said, my main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work. If you want your business, if you want your organization, if you want your staff, if you want your employees to be moving like a cohesive unit, like a championship football organization, if you want that, main website to check out is makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYaMove.com. It's a one-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.